Welcome. Welcome to Candid Creoles, where we elevate, celebrate Haitian excellence and friends. Today, we have a special guest on to celebrate a special day, May 18, Haitian Flag Day. Today, we have Sheilla. Sheilla is an artist, she's a poet, and at the end of our conversation, Sheilla is going to read a special poem for Haiti in honor of May 18, Fête du Drapeau, Flag Day, Haitian Flag Day. Welcome, Sheilla.
Hi, hello. I'm happy to be here today on this special occasion for the Fête du Drapeau. And I'm from Abidjan, so I say hello to everybody, to all the Haitian people.
Thank you, thank you. Sheilla was born in French Guyana to a Haitian family, and her name is Sheilla Constance Sidney. She grew up in a suburb of Paris, France, and her upbringing and life journey brought her to develop a taste for the arts with a personal penchant for the mix of cultures which she has been exposed to from an early age. Sheila's family is spread across the globe, which provided her with many opportunities to travel and expose herself to different cultures. Therefore, very young, Sheilla developed a taste for travel, which led her to discover several countries such as the US, Kenya, Congo, Tanzania, and Ethiopia, which was a spiritual enrichment. Later on, a career move led her to spend the greater part of the last 15 years in Shanghai, China. This was really a mind-opening experience because it allows Sheila's creativity, because it let her creativity speak through poetry, and the creation of a mixed culture-inspired clothing line, Habisha. Beautiful name. She always wanted to experience life in an African country where she lives now, and fate brought her to live for the past 4 years in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. Welcome again. You have had a fascinating life, and I can't wait to hear about it. And I'm so excited to listen to the poem at the end. Okay. Thank you so much again for being our guest today. And
thank you for having me.
So tell me, you've been to Shanghai. You were in Shanghai for 15 years. So what got you to move to Shanghai when you did?
It was experience. I mean, I wanted to experience something new. And I grew up in Paris. I went since younger because I have my family in US. So I've been traveling a lot in US. I did some school also over there in Baltimore. After that, I came back and I was like, I don't feel myself in France anymore. And I was like, okay, where to go? And I was thinking to go back to US. And I have people at that time, that was a perfect timing because I was finished university, I have my degree, and people was talking a lot. China was on the TV, on the spot. That was the place to be. They were looking for manpower, people with knowledge, because they have the Olympic coming and also the Expo Universelle. So I decided, okay, let's give it a shot. And I just went there. Before I made a couple trips before move there. And I moved and I found a job, and my plan was not to stay that long, but life make it this way.
So when you went to visit China a couple times before you moved. Where did you visit? Did you visit different cities or?
I mainly Shanghai mainly, but I went a little bit inside the country just to see what it's look like. But mainly Shanghai.
Why Shanghai?
Work. Shanghai is really a fascinating city. You know, it's I wrote a poem about her, and I say it was a love story. But it was a kind of love story for me, like love, passion, scream, very passionate, because that's the way Shanghai is. The particularity of Shanghai, it it has been built by the different community, like because the French was there, the British was there, the German, it was different concession. That's how Shanghai was built.
Okay.
So from the beginning, it was a melting pot. Shanghai was a melting pot, with a different culture and plus the Chinese. So when I arrived there, I always say that you have the feeling to travel because you would meet people from different countries. It's like you do the un tour du monde, meeting different people.
But in one spot.
In one spot, exactly.
Yes.
That was my feeling of Shanghai. And it was at the time where Shanghai was really booming and growing. So it was really exciting. Everything was happening there, everything.
That's great. That sounds fascinating. So you met people of all different cultures, speaking all different languages, and after being there for 15 years, so you do speak Mandarin.
I do speak. I'm not fluent in Mandarin, unfortunately, because I haven't been practicing it's been 4 years now. Yeah, 4 years. I moved, but I pick it up. I take some classes and I speak some.
Yeah. So when you were there, you were fine. It's when you left. It's just like me. I was having a conversation with another guest, a friend, the other day on Candid Creoles, and we decided to do it in French, and I was very uncomfortable because I've been in the US for over 35 years, and I said it is no longer my first language. I don't practice French. I mean, I have the foundation, so it was a little challenge for me to. I found my words, but they came very slow because I was thinking in English and translating. So it was interesting. It was interesting. So I totally understand. But if you go back to China, you'll be able to pick it up just like that.
I think so. It will come back because sometimes even here, I met some Chinese person and I try to speak because I really looking for it, So I'm like, okay, I tell them, okay, 我住在上海10年. They look at, I just say, oh, I live in Shanghai for 10 years. They look at me, and I try to have a little conversation to see what I remember and all that.
Yes.
So after a while, and they keep on speaking to me fast. I say, okay, Maidian, speak more slowly, so I can catch up.
Okay. So what you said at first was that's what you translated right after as well? I lived in Shanghai.
Yes.
Say it again for me.
我住在上海10年.
Oh boy. That sounds so difficult to even pronounce.
Actually, it's not. I find it's a lot of learning the vocabulary, and also the most difficult part in the Mandarin is the tone, because there are 4 tones. Like with the same word, depending how you pronunciate it, you can say something different. And it's still my challenge, because I don't use the tone. Sometimes it's not the correct one, but people kind of understand me because of the context of the situation. But that's the more challenging part. So that's why when you heard a Chinese person speaking, you have the feeling of the singing is because you have ma, the first tone.
Yeah, it goes up and down.
Up and down, exactly. So it's because of the tone, and that's the most
that's
difficult
fascinating. So the same word with a different tone means something different.
Exactly.
I have a dear friend of mine who lives in Shanghai. And when she told me that, and I was saying, like, I was asking her, she's been there for 3 years now, perhaps, I believe. And then I was telling her, are you picking up the language? How is it? She said the same thing. And it's still like so fascinating to me. It's like same word, different tone changes the entire communication. I mean, explanation of what you're saying, basically, conversation. That's interesting, very interesting. And so when you were in Shanghai, so how was life there for you, and what did you do? I know you were in a Shanghai magazine. No, not magazine, newspaper, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so when I was in Shanghai, I said that was the time I really experienced myself. It was really a journey into myself, okay, what I'm capable to do, because I arrived in a country, don't know much about the culture, doesn't speak the language. Everything was new. And, you kind of, okay, you completely out of your comfort zone. So that's the time I think you need to push yourself and to see what you are capable to do. And that's what happened to me exactly. I was looking for a job, and it's been 8 months looking for the job, don't find anything. At the same time, I have that hobby. For me, it was a hobby, do clothing. And because I've been traveling a lot in Africa, so I bring with me all my fabric from Africa. And I was doing some clothing with African fabric mixed with different culture, the shape of different clothing. And I was wearing my clothes, and every time people was like, "Oh, that's really nice. What you're wearing? Oh, where you get this?" And I said, "Oh no, I designed it myself." And my friend told me at that time, Muriel, she was like, "Okay, why are you looking for a job? Do your own clothing line." I was like, "I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do a pattern. I don't know nothing. I just do it because I like it." And she said, "Oh, but we are in Shanghai. You can do everything."
Oh,
And that's how,
wow.
yeah, that's how it starts. So I start to find, it's really crazy how it started, because I put together a small collection, and then, okay, I was like, okay, I need to show to the people my collection. So, okay, I have to do a fashion show. So, okay, how you do a fashion show? I don't have money. I mean, it was okay. And when you believe on something and you put all your attention on it and your focus, the things come to you. And that was
Yes.
it's really happened like that, because okay, I was like, oh, I have to do a fashion show. And I was in a party. Oh, you want to do fashion? Oh, I'm a makeup artist. And oh, I have to do fashion. And I was talking to people, oh, I gotta do a fashion. Oh, I'm a photographer. Oh, I have to do a fashion show. Oh, you know what? I'm a choreographer of fashion show. And I met the people like this, talking about, oh, I'm doing a fashion show. And I was like, I'm doing it. It's not, it's really, I was really focused on that. And the people come to me, and I have a small team. And that's how I did my first fashion show. And I have the chance to do it at the Ayat on the Bund, which was the best hotel, one of the best hotels in Shanghai. They have a bar they call the View Bar, where you see all the bonds. And I I did it there, me, Sheilla. It was amazing, amazing.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah,
And
and
that's
so
beautiful. It's like the moment, and there is a quote that I absolutely love that comes to mind, when you said, when you start putting all your attention
mhm,
into something, it just, people just come to you, things just
yeah,
keep happening. And that quote is, the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. That by
exactly.
I cannot pronounce that guy's name. He's German. um I'll say Wolfgang van Goethe. I think that's how they pronounce it. But
Okay.
I stumbled upon that quote a while back, and I always remember that quote. When you focus on something, then it's going
Mhm.
to bring, providence does move everything toward you.
Yeah,
And then you are able to
exactly.
have your fashion show, and then you are shocked because you're asking yourself, like, me, Sheila, is having this. That's what people
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
And then you did
It,
it. And then, is that how you got into the newspaper? So they had an article about
yeah,
you.
yeah, but because so I find when I did the fashion show, after that I find people from the press, and they come to my fashion show. I have a coverage, the press coverage, and also the amazing thing happened. I have to tell that story. I was like, okay, because that was the first time. At that time, I moved to China, ça c'était en 2006. Yeah,
Okay.
2006. So at that time, nobody really, I mean, of course they expat, but Chinese people don't have really knowledge, not knowledge, but don't really interest, I would put it that way, in Africa. And because my clothing line was really an inspiration, sorry, I'm losing an
That's
inspiration
okay.
from Africa. And I say, okay, I need to have the ambassador from the different African country coming to my show. And I
Mm.
met one that was crazy, but it was crazy. It really happened like that. And I met one person is, all the people from the African embassy, and all the African embassy are in Beijing. And they were having like a committee or something in Shanghai. So I met that guy. He said, okay, all the ambassador from the African countries going to be in Shanghai on that day. You're going to come with me and you're going to speak to them. And I said, okay. I said, okay, let's go. So they were having the meeting. And after the meeting, the guy said, okay, just a second. He said, okay, gentlemen, I want you to introduce you somebody. She has something to say. And okay, so he introduced me and I say, okay, listen to me. I'm going to have a fashion show. And the inspiration is about Africa, is to promote the African culture, is a fusion with Africa, because this is the essence of the world and the different culture. And I will be very honored to have you at my fashion show. And I have the ambassador from Ethiopia was there. That's why you can see on the magazine, they mentioned like even the ambassador from Ethiopia came for the fashion show. So I have different representative of the different country was there. So that was really amazing. And I was really happy about it.
Wow, that's amazing. Congrats to you. It's and what it's saying is like you had an idea and then a friend, you started something as a hobby. And then a friend told you, why don't you just become a designer because you're already doing it. And then you were you're wearing your own clothes. And you know, there we have on the page, on our page, a celebration of Haitian excellence. I have highlighted several Haitian designers on that page. Either they are Haitian or of Haitian descent. And a lot of them are doing extremely well. One of them, I forgot her name, it's a lady, and she even Michelle Obama wears her clothes. So
I think I saw a picture.
Did you see it on the page? Because I highlighted her on the page. Yes. So I forgot her name. Oh, there's so many names of people that I highlighted. It's a challenge to remember everyone, but I'm trying to see if I can pull a name. So definitely it's fascinating. So you left 4 years ago, correct?
Yeah.
And then you moved to Africa.
I moved to Africa because I don't know why I always have that call. I would put it that way, that okay, one day, since I'm Lelo, one day I will live somewhere in Africa. So after all that time in China, and I was like, okay, I think maybe it's the time to move to Africa. And it was the time. So I started looking for a job in Africa. And through my connection in China, I've been moved with a company to Abidjan.
Okay. So is that why you chose Côte d'Ivoire? Is that why you chose Abidjan?
I mean, when I decided to move to Africa, I have two cities in mind. That was Abidjan, because I heard a lot about Abidjan, and people call him also le Paris de l'Afrique.
And, oh là là, ça je ne savais pas.
C'est le Paris de l'Afrique.
Okay.
And Abidjan also was booming. It's booming, it's growing. And another city was Lagos. I don't know. I always been the name. I don't know. For me, Lagos also, I've been attracted by that city. But le destin bring me to Abidjan, which is I'm happy also.
Okay, that's great. And then, do you still have the clothing line in where you are now?
No, I don't do it anymore. I stopped to do that, but I'm doing something completely different right now. Yeah. I'm working in a company where as how you say that? I don't know. Forget the name how we say that in English. Acheteur, a buyer. A buyer. I'm a buyer for a construction company here, and I buy for them like all over the world. So
that sounds fascinating.
Yeah, so
they are a construction company. So do you purchase land for them or build or already established buildings?
No, they are mainly thing for construction, construction building. They're doing that. They have a different huge project here in Abidjan.
Okay, projects. So basically, you purchase contracts for them. That's what it sounds like with other company. They're not they're not developers. They're just construction. They're construction.
Yeah. They're just construction. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Well, that sounds fascinating too.
Yeah, yeah. It's it was a new job, I have to say, because that was not my field. My major was in tourism and business, and now I'm in a construction company. So all the thing I've learned to my journey helped me doing that new position that I have now.
Yeah, I have noticed that. I'm in real estate, residential and
Uh-huh.
commercial, and
Okay.
it's and that's what you say is so true. You may not have ever worked in construction, but
Hmm.
everything that happened in your life has prepared you for that moment.
Exactly.
Everything. Because I started my career in real estate and real estate sales, and now I
Okay.
also have and then that led me to a coaching business, and that
Okay.
was not something that I had any intention of studying when I first studied real estate years ago. But
Hmm.
everything prepares you for whatever is next in your life. And then, like Steve Jobs said, you can only see that when you look back, and then you can connect all the dots.
Exactly. That, and it is true. It is true.
Yes, yeah, that's fascinating, fascinating lives. And so you really like Abidjan, where you are
I
now.
I do. I do. I have to admit at the beginning, because every time you move to a new country, it's always you need that moment of adjustment, that
Yes,
you can say, okay, this is home. And for me, it's home now. When
yes.
I go visit my family, I'm happy, and I come back, I say, okay, I'm home now.
Yes, I totally agree. When I left Haiti years ago and
Mm.
I moved to New York, I cried every day. It took me time to adjust because I didn't want to be in New York and
Okay.
I wanted to go back home. And my
Mhm.
family kept saying, no, it's not the right time to come. But now I am, like you said, you adjust and then now this is home.
Uh-huh.
It's and I love it here. I am no longer
Uh-huh.
in New York. I left New York and moved to Florida, and I
Mhm.
absolutely love it here. Totally love it here. So it's
Okay.
really nice. You have to
Mm.
take it takes time to adjust. And of
It
all
takes
the
time.
places that you visited, you lived in, what's your
Mm.
top three favorites? What are your
Oh,
top
wow.
threes?
It's difficult. That's a very difficult
That's why I said
question,
top
because
three. I didn't say top. I
uh,
didn't say first top one.
because it's gonna depend of the criteria that you take.
Criteria. Yes.
Yeah, criteria. So I do, okay. The first three. Okay, Ethiopia. I mean, I really have un coup de cœur for Ethiopia, I have to say. When I went to Ethiopia, I was supposed to stay 3 weeks, and I spent 4 months.
Oh, wow. Because
Yeah.
you really love it there. What
I,
did you love so
I,
much about Ethiopia? Why did
I
Ethiopia
mean,
just got
it, I
you
feel
developed that
so,
love?
yeah, I feel so connected with Ethiopia,
Okay.
and it's the same thing. We were talking about this offline, like people talk about a country negatively,
Yes.
and and I always look at Ethiopia. I'm sure there is, because I remember when I was a child, when I was looking at Ethiopia, they're always showing like starving people, the negative thing. And I went there, and I was like, no, I mean, this is not Ethiopia. I went there and I discovered all that culture that Ethiopia has. You know, Ethiopia, and there is a connection between a similarity between Ethiopia and Haiti.
Hmm.
Okay, Haiti was the first colony who get independence. Okay,
Yes.
Ethiopia is the only African country who never been colonized. So you see, like for me, I
Got it.
find that connection there. And from the Ethiopian, because of this, uh, Ethiopian people have a totally different way of speaking regarding colonization. You know, they they don't have that servitude. I don't want to
Mindset.
mindset. Yeah, they don't have that at all, and I was fascinated about that. They are
Mhm.
so proud, and that's what I when I look at Haiti and the Asian culture, for me, we are proud also because we are the first colony to get our independency, and we
Yes.
are proud about it. And Ethiopia
Yes.
has the same thing. Also talking about culture, I mean, like it's the only African, the writing also. It's the only African country, they create their own writing.
Mm-hmm.
So all those things. And I've been visiting, like if you go to Lalibela, that's my place. I love Lalibela. Lalibela is a place, is how you call that? Où tu fais un pèlerinage. People go there
Pèlerinage?
because, yeah, in Lalibela. That's they call it Black Jerusalem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
because
learning a lot from you today. First, I learned about the Paris, the Paris of Africa.
yeah,
Now I found Black Jerusalem.
yeah.
Okay, I'm learning a lot. Okay.
It's the Black Jerusalem when you go to Lalibela, because you have those church who have been built in the rock. And when you go there, you see how they did that. C'était au XVIIe siècle. And you wonder how they were able to build that. Like they don't have all the machinery that they have right now.
With their bare hands.
Yeah, and it's just amazing, amazing. And I remember going to Lalibela. I was supposed to stay like three days, you know. And I have a feeling that the time stopped over there. Really time stopped. And in the morning, every morning, before people go to work, they go to the church. So that's the ritual. And I did that also. And I remember going to, they have that big church, Saint George Church, you know, and people going there. And I was going there in the morning, sit down. I was not understand anything about, because what they call the Abba was speaking in Amharic and Gueux, but my soul do understand. And I was sitting there and crying. And after 2 days, somebody noticed me and was like, "Why are you crying?" And I said, "I don't speak." He first start to speak it.
Did you try to learn Amharic?
No. I mean,
it was too short of a time for 4 months.
Too short. I mean, and even the 4 months was not planning. It was supposed to be 3 weeks.
Yes.
And the person was speaking enough English, and I was like, "Why are you crying?" I said, "I don't know. I just come and sit there and I just cry." And he was like, "Okay." So he introduced me to the Abba, the what they call the priest. So he was doing the translation. And the Abba told me, "Okay, you need to stay here, come every morning, and just what happened. If you have to cry, you cry." And I did that for 1 week, sorry. Every morning I was going there, crying. Until one day I went, no more crying. And then the Abba said, "Okay, it's time to go now."
Interesting.
And I think I have so much, I don't know what it was. I have to let it go, and I let it go there. And I don't know what
you had a spiritual experience, it seems like. There was some connection you had, and then that came overwhelming. That was overwhelming to you. That's why every day you went there and cried. That's what I'm getting from what you're saying. And then once it was all released, then you were fine. And that's why the Abba said it's time to go. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's why I'm really, I mean, and I invite everybody who have the chance to go to Ethiopia, go do that trip, go to Lalibela. I mean, there is so much, there is a lot of culture over there.
That's nice. That sounds really nice. So I know, so I asked you for top 3, but I was so fascinating. We had a long, I wanted to learn more about Ethiopia. So what are the other 2 that you were going to say?
The other 2, I don't know. I mean, Shanghai also, it's, I love Shanghai.
Okay.
I have to say, I love it. I love it because he gave me so much.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. It helped you discover yourself that you are limitless.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm getting?
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Beautiful. And number 3?
And number 3, I haven't discovered it yet. I would say that. I don't know.
Okay, maybe next time we talk, you'll let me know.
Okay.
But you're enjoying Abidjan, though. You're really enjoying there.
I do. You know, the one thing when you say you need to adjust about the culture, what I find I love with people from Abidjan, no matter what the situation is, they always find, try to laugh about it, you know.
Ah,
Yeah, because at the beginning I was really annoyed by that, you know. I was, because I have the feeling that they were making fun of me when I was trying to be serious and all that, or
ah,
when we have a very serious situation. And one day I understand, a friend told me, no, it's just that, okay, yeah, say it's sad, but what we're gonna do? Cry about it? We can cry or laugh. So they really have that that way of
thinking. Yes,
every situation to try to make fun of it, turning
got
the
it.
other way.
So they
And I
turn
really,
it light. They bring some. They make, if it's something that's really deep and then something very strong, but that you cannot change. Then what are
exactly,
you gonna do? Cry or
yeah,
laugh? And they choose to laugh.
to electricity life. And I think, you know, every of my journey, I learn something, and that's why I'm learning here. Try, okay, something happened. It's not the end of the world. Laugh about it, you know.
Relax, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Relax.
Relax.
Ah,
That's
that's
true.
interesting. I mean, all those places that you visited, I remember when I was little, my dad used to say, you got to travel the world
Mm-hmm.
because traveling expand your mind and your education. And it's not even a choice, a necessity. That's what he, because that's what he did. And so I can see that in you as the more you travel, because you've been to so many places, and you get something from each and every place that you go, and then it
Mm-hmm.
changes you within, whether you can see it or not, but you are expanding in some way, as opposed to if you had stayed in Paris
Mm-hmm.
and never went anywhere.
That's true. That's
Sure.
true.
Okay, I get that. I get that. Did you have a chance to? I know we just connected recently, and it was
Uh-huh.
so fun and happy to connect with you. Did you have a chance to look at our group, A Celebration of Asian Excellence?
Yes, I did look at it, and I show also the different. I saw something about the schooling, you know. So I look what you post. I did.
What I wanted to ask you, when you said the
Mm.
schooling, the thing I posted about the school, like the I'm trying to
The
remember the scholarship. Is that what you referring to?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Yes, yeah, that's something that I posted a couple months ago. I think that was in March, because March is
Mhm.
Women Month, I believe. Yeah, because I am very, very, I believe Haiti needs education. I believe
Mhm.
that's what's lacking. And to me, it's the number one thing I think that's lacking. That's why we where we are. And
Mhm.
it's turning into I don't want to say, I don't even know what word to say, into where, how do you say that? I cannot even think in English. It's people just, it's all about the self.
Mhm.
And it's, to me, it's a lack of education and also ignorance that
Mhm.
we don't understand that you're not here by yourself. So it cannot just be about the self.
Yeah.
And it's only when we make it like notre devise, l'union fait la force. So
La force. Yeah.
if we could leave that, it will be a different story. And which is the whole
Exactly.
reason the page was created. And I was asking you about the page because I'm always asking people about the page, because I'm always looking for new ideas, because I cannot
Mhm.
do it alone. I may be the one who created it, but I created it for us. And I'm always looking for ideas to expand the page, to fulfill the objective of the page, which is to change the narrative, the perception of Haiti,
Mhm.
from the international community, and also about us as well, because we have to start with us. So
Yeah.
what, any ideas that you would care to share on how to expand the
Just
page?
right like that. Wow. Let me. I don't have any idea. You take me a little bit by surprise, but with this question,
Yes.
I have to say, um, I don't really thought about it because I think what you're doing is great, you know, and that's how we gonna grow. Because this is a quote from Gandhi, who was say, anything you will do in life will be insignificant, but you have to do it. It's because you're doing this, you know, and you reach me. And I remember we spoke like a couple weeks before about this program, and the way you touched me, the way I was like, and that's funny because it's like, okay, what we are doing as individual at our level, to grow the country. So I want to say thank you to you because of this page, because I didn't know about the page, and by the work you do it. And I really appreciate it, because even me, I'm here, I'm from Haiti, I'm kind of promoted Haiti, and it's a good way. So now, because I have that group of people, and there is a lot of, not a lot, but there is a small community here in Abidjan of a mix
Oh,
between.
that's nice.
Yeah, there is. So I'm going to, and when I have your page, I share that with them. So to see, okay, what you're doing, the work that you're doing, and that's how you touch people. And that's how I think, as you say, we need first to change our image about us.
About us first.
Yeah.
We gotta look in the mirror. Always look in the mirror, because if we are always looking at somebody else, then we have no power. We give the power to that person. But when you're looking at you, then you claim your power, and then you can make the change that you want to make. That's my philosophy. That's what I believe in life. And I may have caught you by surprise, but you gave me an ideal answer. You're sharing it with your community in Abidjan, and that's expansion. You are expanding the group. So you are not only answering me, you're actually acting on it. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And you can invite as part of the group. Anybody in the group can invite anybody that they want to invite and join the group. So thank you for that. Thank you for explaining it. Appreciate that. And so where do you see yourself? I know you're in Abidjan, you've been there for 4 years. So where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10 years?
Wow. I think I'm going to be here in Abidjan. I think I'm going to be here. For now, it's home, work, my family come to visit me. I'm happy here. I see myself here.
That's beautiful. And your family, everybody is doing okay? I know the world has been so touched by COVID in such a tragic way. So your family, everybody's doing okay?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's the dog. Yeah, everybody is doing fine. Thanks God to that. I have my mom with me, because my mom live in, she live in France, and because my brother and sister, they are nurse, so it's better that I have her with me, and she enjoy it. She's happy to be here. She prefer to be here than in France in a confinement.
That's nice. And you've also visited, you were not born in Haiti, but you have visited Haiti a couple times, right?
Yes, of course I did.
Yeah.
Because from my mom's side, we are from Jacmel. And from my dad's side, we are from Miragouane.
Okay. So when you went, did you go to Miragouane and Jacmel?
Both. I do both.
Okay.
Yeah, I do both. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm having goosebumps thinking about Haiti. So beautiful place, beautiful place. And so we, to conclude, we know we have a poem we would like for you to read. And before we read the poem, I just have 3 questions. One of them is one word. The first 2 questions is like one word answer.
Okay.
If you can. If you could describe your life in one word.
My life in one word. Connection.
Connection. That goes with you. Totally goes with you. And if you could describe Haiti in one word.
Haiti in one word. Strong.
Yes.
That's strong.
Yes, totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. And advice that you may in the world that we are living now, for the Haitian world that we are experiencing now, especially back home in Haiti, what advice would you have for Haitian?
We need unity, as you say earlier. L'union fait la force.
L'union fait la force.
La force.
And on that note,
really apply. We need to apply this.
Apply l'union fait la force. And I do hope that one day at a time, day after day after day, we'll start accepting that and acknowledging that, become aware of that, and we can apply it, definitely. And now you're going to read a poem for us.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear you.
Okay. So I'm
So
just going to
excited.
explain it. Yeah, I'm just going to explain a little bit the context of that poem.
Yes, yes.
I wrote that poem when we had the earthquake en 2010. And because I was having like, every time people was, I was introduced myself, I was like, yes, I'm French, but my origin is from Haiti. And I was like, oh, Haiti, have that sad face. And I was like, okay, why are you doing that sad face? Oh, because you have the earthquakes, because you always have something, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, but that's not define Haiti. You know, when you say, oh, you're from Thailand or whatever, people's like, oh, you know, they have that joyous face. But I say, you don't have to have a sad face when I say I'm from Haiti, because Haiti is a beautiful place.
Yes.
And that's where I put my heart. You know, when I write poems, it's always about what I feel on the moment. And that was the time. And I say, okay, I need to speak about Haiti. What is Haiti exactly? And I wrote that poem about Haiti. So
Beautiful
here we go.
inspiration. Beautiful inspiration. Go ahead.
Thank you. Let me put my glass.
And you're going to read it in French.
I'm going to read it in French.
Okay. Perfect. That's perfect.
Hasta. Ok. Autrefois appelée Hispaniola, aujourd'hui on t'inflige le sobriquet d'île maudite. Ayiti Cheri, Ayiti Cheri. Tu as préféré être le loup de la fontaine et ne pas avoir de marque de servitude à ton cou en arrachant ta liberté. Ayiti Cheri, Ayiti Cheri. Merci à toi, Toussaint Louverture, qui nous a ouvert les portes de la liberté. Merci à toi, car aujourd'hui, nous sommes fiers de dire que nous sommes la première colonie noire à avoir eu notre indépendance. Ayiti Cheri, Ayiti Cheri. Oh, Ayiti Cheri, qu'as-tu fait de cette liberté? Tel un diamant, tu as été la convoitise de tant de pillards qui ont voulu te façonner, mais tu as résisté. La liberté ou la mort a été ton cri. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. La liberté ou la mort. La liberté ou la mort a été ton cri de guerre. Ayiti Cheri, Ayiti Cheri. Malgré toutes tes blessures, tu gardes la tête haute. Tu es si fière, ma belle Haïti. Certains parlent de ta dette, mais c'est eux qui ont une dette envers toi. Ont-ils oublié, c'est fou, les 150 millions de francs or que tu as dû payer en échange de ta liberté? Ayiti Cheri, Ayiti Cheri. Père des Antilles, une fois encore, tu es meurtri. Le monde est à ton chevet. Ils sont là, ils te regardent agoniser. Mais ton heure n'est pas encore arrivée. Ayiti Cheri, Ayiti Cheri. Une fois encore, tu as un genou au sol, mais tu ne fléchiras pas. Campé. Tes armoiries sont l'union fait la force. Ayiti Cheri, Ayiti Cheri. Tu ne veux plus entendre le sobriquet d'île maudite, car ton nom c'est Ayiti Cheri, Ayiti Cheri. Voilà.
C'est beau. That's beautiful. I got goosebumps. Merci beaucoup, merci beaucoup. Je te remercie. C'est bien. Et sur ce, je te remercie encore et ça fait plaisir de t'avoir comme notre invité. It's been a pleasure to have you as our guest. And I'm going to say thank you all who are watching Candid Creoles. And thank you to Sheilla for this beautiful poem and this conversation. And as always, peace for Haiti and love for Haiti.
Love.
Bye-bye, Sheilla. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you to you. Bye.